Do you remember a close call you had as a pilot?
Yeah, I'll tell you, this was the most ridiculous risk, I think, personal risk I ever took in my life.
Okay.
As I said, I was always enthralled with flying. I started building model airplanes when I was 9 years old and eventually radio controlled airplanes. And then when I turned 15, I actually was able to convince my dad. He was also a pilot. And so it was not too hard, but he was a pastor and a pilot, which is kind of an interesting combination. But he part-time flew for the Air Force. And so I convinced him that I'm ready to go get my pilot's license at age 15. Now, in South Africa, you can actually get your pilot's license, the official final test, when you turn 16.
No kidding.
But you can start your training at age 15.
Wow.
Now, you cannot drive a car there until you're 18, believe it or not. But you can get a pilot's license when you're 16. So
Wow.
Go figure that.
Yeah.
But, that's, of course, an international rule that applies. But what happened was, so I was about 15, almost 16, about 3 months away from turning 16 when I got to be able to take my first solo cross-country flight. Now, at that point, I've soloed, I've taken off and landed and so forth. But in your cross-country flight, you fly this big triangle. Here I am, not even 16 years old, brave as can be, maybe foolish as can be. I take off, and on my first leg, I found the checkpoint and I turned. And then I did not find the second checkpoint. And I realized that I'm lost. Now, 15, not even 16. In those days, there's no GPS. You have a manual map on your lap. You cannot call anyone and say, where the heck am I? Help me to get home. So that was that moment in my life where I almost panicked and freaked out. And then I just had to basically force myself to say, okay, I've got to stay calm and I've got to figure this out, because if I don't, I'm going to be toast. So, I was able to look at some checkpoints, long story short, figure out where I was, plot a course back, and made it back to the airport. And of course, I landed about an hour late. And when I landed, my dad had no nails left, But that was such a formative experience for me, because in one way, it was incredibly scary. But in another way, it gave me so much confidence that I could manage through that. And I think I became a man, frankly, as well in that moment.